Good morning, children. In the last class, we started first chapter, the story of Village Palampur. In this chapter, we discussed it is the story of an imaginary village called Palampur. In this story, through the story we are studying some of the basic concepts related with production. So we studied some of the requirements of production. So there are four requirements are there for production. We studied land, labor, physical capital and human capital. These are the four requirements of production. Then we told land is the first requirement of production. Then other natural resources need for production are soil, minerals, forest, etc. Then we studied what is labor. Labor is the second requirement of production, and the work people do are laborers. Two types of laborers we discussed. Yes, skilled laborers and unskilled laborers. Skilled laborers are educated laborers and unskilled laborers are manual workers or casual laborers we studied. Then we studied third requirement of production, it is physical capital. Physical capital means input required for production. So we know physical capital, there are two items are included in physical capital. They are fixed capital and working capital. Fixed capital means tools, machines and buildings are included in fixed capital. So we know tools means the tool may be vary from simple tool to complex tool. Simple tool means the plow used by farmers, and complex tool means the tool complex tools such as generators, computer, turbines, etc. are the some complex tools used in the production. And we also discussed what is working capital. Working capital includes raw materials and money in hand. A weaver uses yarn as a raw material. So raw material means the things that used to make a new product. So weaver use yarns for making clothes. Then we study another example, we told the clay used by potters. Clay is a raw material used by potters to make pot. So the raw materials are very essential requirement of production. The next requirement of production we told money in hand. Money is very essential for production. All the payments are we do all the payments through money. Then we know we are purchasing these things, tools, machines, everything by using money. So money also very important requirement of production. Next is human capital. Human capital means knowledge or enterprises used in production. So we know without these three requirements, that means land, labor and physical capital, the production will not complete. So human effort or knowledge is must in the production. So human capital is the next fourth requirement of production. What is factors of production? Land, labor, capital and land, labor, physical capital and human capital together called factors of production. This much only we discussed in the last class. Today we are going to discuss about farming in Palampur. Next topic is farming in Palampur. Farming is the most important production activity in Palampur. Most of the people, that means 75% of people in Palampur are depending farming for their livelihood. But the land area under the cultivation is fixed there. Since 1960s, there were no expansion of production area under cultivation. By then, some of the wastelands are converted into cultivable land. Hectares are the most important standard unit used to measure land. 1 hectare is equal to 100 meter. So next we have to discuss, is there a way one can grow more from the same land? So there is any way one can grow more from the same land. So Palampur is a village that's situated in the western part of Uttar Pradesh. We know farming is the main production activity in the people living in Palampur village. Then most of the part of Palampur is cultivable land. Most of the part of Palampur, the farmers are growing crops there. So no land left idle there. So most of the part of Palampur is cultivable land. So the farmers are growing three types of crops there. During the rainy season, they are growing kharif crops. Kharif crops like jowar and bajra mainly they are growing. These crops are considered as cattle feed. Okay, then in between the month of October and December they are growing potato also. Then during the winter season, the farmers in Palampur are growing wheat. Mainly they are growing rabi crops wheat. From the wheat produce, they are keeping enough for the consumption of family, and surplus or balance they are selling in the market. And in one corner of the village, they are growing sugarcane also. So these are the some of the crops grown in the Palampur village. Okay, next we have to discuss what are the main reason these farmers of Palampur growing three types of crops in a year. What was the main reason for this? So one of the most important reason why the farmers are growing these different types of crops in Palampur village, one of the most important thing is the well developed system of irrigation. That was the one thing. Well developed system of irrigation was the one of the most important reason these farmers can grow more than two crops in a year. That was the main reason, well developed system of irrigation. Then another reason we can say that electricity also reached early there. Electricity also reached early. Electricity also reached early in the village of Palampur. So because of this electricity reached in the Palampur, one of the most important impact of this electricity was the transformation of irrigation system. How the irrigation system transformed? Yes, the farmers in Palampur started to use Persian wheel. So invention of Persian wheel was the another important reason the farmers can grow more than two crops in a year in the Palampur village. So invention of Persian wheel. Persian wheels are used by farmers to draw back water from the well to irrigate the fields. So electric run tube wells also used by the farmers in Palampur to irrigate the large area under the cultivation. Large area irrigated through the tube wells. In the beginning, government provides some tube wells to farmers for irrigating the land. Later, these farmers itself bought private tube wells for irrigating the land. This was the some of the reason the farmers in Palampur grow more than two crops in a year. Okay, so what are the reason? Well developed system of irrigation. Electricity also reached early in Palampur. Then the electricity, due to this electricity, there was a transformation came in the irrigation system. That was the invention of Persian wheel. Persian wheel is used by farmers to draw back water from the well to irrigate the land, and electrically run tube wells also used by the farmers to irrigate the land. As a result, by the mid of 1970s, most of the land in Palampur were irrigated. That means more than 200 hectares of land were irrigated due to this transformation of irrigation system, because the farmers used Persian wheels. So that was the most important development happened in the irrigation system in Palampur village. Next topic is about multiple cropping. What is multiple cropping? Multiple cropping means growing more than one crop in the same piece of land in a year is called multiple cropping. Growing more than one crop. Growing more than one crop. More than one crop. Growing more than one crop in a same piece of land. In a same piece of land. Same piece of land in a year. In a year is called multiple crop. It was the one way to grow crops more than one time in a same piece of land. So it is used by farmers. Multiple cropping was one way. It helped the farmers to grow more crops in a same piece of land. Then there are some other techniques or other methods also used by farmers. for increasing their production. It was the modern method of production. Till the 1960s, the seeds used by the farmers were traditional seeds. Traditional seeds need only less water. So now you have to study how is the traditional method of farming is different from modern method of farming. Next we have to discuss how the traditional farming is different from modern farming. So till 1960s, the farmers in Palampur used traditional seeds. So traditional seeds need only less irrigation. Less irrigation is enough for traditional method of farming. So traditional seeds need only less irrigation. Then farmers use cow dung. Farmers use cow dung and other natural manures as a fertilizer. Other natural manures as fertilizers in the traditional method of farming. And we know this cow dung and natural manures are easily available. It is readily available. So they no need to spend more money for that. No need to spend money. No need to spend money for buying fertilizers. Okay, that was the traditional method of farming. But after the late 1960s, modern method of farming was started in the village of Palampur. So that means modern method of farming means we should know it is the seeds also changed. High yielding variety seeds are used by farmers. So traditional seeds change into high yielding variety seeds. Yielding variety HIV seeds were used by farmers. So modern method of farming means you should remember one important concept, that is green revolution. Green revolution came into existence during the year of 1960s, late 1960s. Modern farming, how the modern farming changed, green revolution came. So green revolution means by using high yielding variety seeds and modern methods in farming, agricultural production was increased rapidly. That is known as green revolution. Okay, so what is green revolution? Green revolution means, this term green revolution is related with agriculture. Okay, so there was a rapid increase in agricultural production. How increased agricultural production? By using of HYV seeds. HYV seed means high yielding variety seeds and some modern techniques used in the production. As a result of this, agricultural production was increased rapidly. That is known as green revolution. Okay, then who is known as the father of green revolution? Father of green revolution is M.S. Swaminathan. M.S. Swaminathan is known as father of green revolution. Okay, so we know modern farming, they use chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers were used. Chemical fertilizers. So these HYV seeds, we told HYV seeds need more irrigation. Comparing to traditional method of farming, here yielding was more. Yielding increased. Yielding means total production. Yielding increased. Large increase in the yielding of production we can see. Okay, so agricultural production increased here as a result of using chemical fertilizers, pesticides, everything they started to use in the farming. Okay, and modern techniques, pesticides and modern machineries also used by the farmers. As a result of it, in agricultural production increased. So yielding increased comparing to traditional method of farming here. Okay, chemical fertilizers and pesticides produce best result. So production was increased rapidly. The farmers of Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh were try out at first this modern method of farming by using tube wells for irrigation, high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and some of by using all those things, and some of the farmers used some machineries also for harvesting, threshing and all. They used some modern machineries also. By using all these things, production was increased rapidly. Earlier the yield of wheat was 1300 kilogram per hectare. That was changed into 3200 kilogram per hectare by using high yielding variety seeds. Now the farmers are getting greater surplus. So surplus means balance. Lot of crops are surplus there, so that they sell in the market. So this is the farming activity done in the Palampur village. So today mainly we studied what is the how is the farming done in Palampur village, and we discussed about what is multiple cropping we discussed, and we discussed about how traditional method of farming is different from modern method of farming. So traditional method of farming only get less yield. When they started modern method of farming, the production was rapidly increased, yielding was increased rapidly. That was the change we can find in the farming activities done in the Palampur village. Okay, so this much only today we are discussing. So you have to write some of the questions. So one question you have to write, how is the traditional method of farming is different from modern method of farming, and you have to write what is green revolution and what was the result of green revolution. These are the two questions you have to write in your notebook. Okay children, so we will meet in the next class. Okay, bye.